Hello, hello. Welcome back to Mind Your Hormones. We are going to have a quick little conversation today because I realize this is like something that's super important for you to know and for us to talk about. And I don't think I've ever done a podcast episode on it before. So what we're going to be talking about is how you actually know when your hormones start balancing out. Because I know you're making all these changes, you're listening to the podcast, you're like slowly implementing new things. Maybe we're working together, like who knows what your exact situation is, but I know that you're making changes or that you plan to start making changes and you want to know how to know that you're moving in the right direction. So that is what we're going to be talking today. And it's super simple how you know if you're moving in the right direction, but I'm going to break that down for you. And this whole episode came about because of a conversation I had with a one-on-one client. So I'm going to break it all down for you. But before I do, I want to make sure you know about a brand new free training that I have for you that I'm so excited about. It's all about how to build how to build hormone healthy meals. It's all about creating a blood sugar balancing meal. And if you've listened to this podcast for a hot second, you know that balancing your blood sugar, again, is so freaking important. It is the very first module of the Mind Your Hormones method. It is an imbalance that I have seen with every single one of my clients. This is something that if this is not intact, your hormones, your cycle, your fertility, pregnancy, all of that is not going to be happening the way that you want it to be happening. So you need to learn how to simply build meals that actually stabilize your blood sugar. What is to be included in every meal? Like, what does it look like? All the things, okay? And I know that we talk about this on the podcast all the time. I always talk about a protein, fiber, healthy fat, but I really wanted to give you a full training on it. And I actually pulled this training from the Mind Your Hormones method, straight from my course. The first module, again, is all about blood sugar. So this is just one of the trainings from that full module. Again, the other modules, there's multiple modules. The other one is nervous system. There's one on gut and inflammation. There's one on liver, all about nutrient density. Then there's all bonus trainings and stuff like that. But I wanted to pull this training straight from the Mind Your Hormones method instead of creating like a new free training, because I created this literally for my paying clients. So you know that it is jam-packed with really important information that is going to move the needle forward for you. So that training is going to be totally free for you. It's in the show notes. And there's also an additional training that's coming with it of teaching you how, like, my smoothie formula. It's a video tutorial of me actually creating a smoothie, a hormone balancing smoothie, and how I do it, all the things. So you're getting 2 videos straight from the Mind Your Hormones method, totally for free. I really want you to have this down pat because this is something that is going to change the game for you. So not only are you going to learn how to build a hormone healthy meal, but you're also going to go take away 2 action steps that you could literally start immediately, and then have that video tutorial of me creating a smoothie so you can see like how it's done. So I'm so excited for you to get your hands on it. The link will be in the show notes. And obviously, if you have any questions or anything, just DM me on Instagram, but I cannot wait for you to get started with this. Okay. Now back to what we're talking about on today's episode. So I was talking to a one-on-one client. She is someone who I'm working with her strictly in Voxer. Voxer is a voice messaging app. So I support her in there daily. And she also gets access to the Mind Your Hormones method. Literally every single client of mine gets access to it because it's the basis of everything. So we've been working together for 2.5 weeks at the time of this recording. And she's halfway through module 1 of the Mind Your Hormones method. That's it. She's just halfway through module 1. And she was messaging me and she's like, I'm already noticing a difference even after just making small changes, which I want to just pause there really quick. We sometimes think that we have to make huge, big changes to see a difference. And most of the time that's not required. It's literally the smallest changes that make the absolute biggest difference, with which this is just proof of that. Literally, she's just halfway through one module. She made the tiniest changes and she's like, I'm already noticing difference. So I asked, okay, what are you noticing? Like, what have you noticed that changed? Because obviously I want to know exactly what it is. She's like, okay, well, what I've noticed so far is I don't have that 3 p.m. slump anymore. Like, I came home from work the other day. I was actually energized to do things after work instead of just waiting around to get energy, or instead of just wanting to lay on the couch all day and night after work. And she also noticed that her eyes aren't as puffy, which is super exciting. That's not really what we're talking about today, but that was what she noticed. No more 3 p.m. slump. She came home after work energized. She didn't want to just like lay on the couch all night. And I'm like, first of all, what an amazing shift to notice immediately, and how it already is impacting your day-to-day life experience of just literally having energy to not want to lay down after work. So The entire point of this episode is that increased energy is the first sign that your body is beginning to heal. Not only that it's beginning to heal, but that it's actually going to be able to heal, that it's actually going to be able to start ovulating again. Because this client that I'm particularly talking about, she has been struggling to conceive for a really long time. So we are working together so I can help support her on her fertility journey. So this increased energy for her specifically is the first sign that her body's going to be able to actually ovulate. It's going to be able to improve her fertility. It's going to be able to have her hormones imbalanced. And whatever your situation is, if you are someone who's working on their PMS, regulating their period, I don't know, improving your moods, like whatever it is, getting off birth control, when you start noticing more energy, that is your body's way of letting you that it's ready to heal, because your body needs energy to heal. Fatigue is one of the first signs that things are starting to break down, that things are off, that things are going out of balance, that disease could be in the body. Fatigue is one of the first signs that you will experience. But unfortunately, we so often will just ignore it, or we don't even realize how tired that we actually are, because you start getting used to the amount of energy that you have. So you're just like, no, I'm not tired. Like, I'm good. I just, I have my coffee in the morning. I have another cup of coffee in the afternoon. Like, you like kind of use it as a crutch, or you're just used to like going through your day to day feeling kind of like, meh, like blah, without being like, oh my God, I have so much energy. Like, let's do all this. And obviously your level of energy is going to shift based on where you're at in your cycle phases. And we talk about this on the podcast a lot. Based on where your hormone levels are at, your energy levels are going to shift. Your energy is going to be lower towards the, when you're getting your period and towards the end of your luteal phase, because your hormones are dropping. However, you should not ever feel completely wiped out, like you can't do anything. That is never normal. And in other phases of your cycle, you should notice this a lot more increase of energy. So the reason why I want to talk about this is because a lot of times when we are trying to, balance our hormones or feel better, a lot of the first things that we want to see is like, whatever the problem is, we want it to go away. Whether that's like, oh my God, I want to start like pooping 2 times a day. I want to see that immediately. I want to lose weight. I want my period to be regular right away. I want to get pregnant right away. Like, obviously, yes, we want those things, and that is going to come, but the increased energy is going to come first. And that is how you know you're moving in the right direction. And the reason why is your mitochondria, if you remember this from, I don't know, like, we definitely learned this in high school in one class, but this was like a major focus of my holistic nutrition training. Your mitochondria are the energy centers of your cell. Okay. My professor would always say your mighty mitochondria. In order for anything in your body to thrive, to heal, to balance out, the mitochondria needs to be supported so that they can provide energy to where it needs to go in the rest of your body. Otherwise, you're in survival mode. And whatever energy that your body has, literally, it's just going towards the areas of your body to keep you alive, to keep you breathing, to keep your heart beating. Like, that is where any small amount of energy that you have is going to go to, just so you can literally stay alive. But especially when we're talking about like our reproductive system, we don't need that to stay alive. So if you're someone who wants to not have pain during your period, you want to have a regular period, you don't want to have migraines, you don't want to have acne, you want to get pregnant, those are not crucial to your survival. So if you have a small amount of energy and you're fatigued, your body's not going to allocate that energy towards supporting your reproductive organs and your hormones and stuff like that. It's going to go towards your heart, your lungs, things to literally just keep you breathing and walking around on a day-to-day basis. So if you want to balance your hormones out, if you want to optimize these areas in your life, we have to have an excess amount of energy. We have to support our mitochondria so that it's an overflow, so that it can take care of all of these things. And once you start making small changes and you are moving in the right direction, you're going to notice that energy increase. That is like the one thing I want you to take away from this is, if you notice your energy is increasing, you are moving in the right direction. If you are feeling fatigued and you are like not seeing any shifts in your energy, you aren't doing exactly what's required for your body to be in a healing state. So you're moving in the right direction if you're noticing energy. Now, the things that actually, if you're like, okay, Corinne, amazing, how do I start supporting my mitochondria, right? Like the energy centers of our cells, that's where it all comes from. That's always like step one, is how can we get your mitochondria into a place where it's actually going to support you. It's going to allow you to have this energy, because that is where it's all going to stem from, right? So things that actually support your mitochondria are, number one, nutrients in therapeutic range, which is why I always talk about high quality supplementation. Now, that of course does not mean it's everything. We of course have to make changes to our nutrition and our lifestyle, but your mitochondria needs therapeutic range. When I say therapeutic range, I mean an abundant amount of nutrients in order to actually thrive, in order to provide your body with the necessary amount of energy to be optimized, to thrive, right? We don't just want to survive. If you need to heal, your body needs an excess amount of energy. Okay. So proper supplementation is so, so, so important, which is why I'm such a proponent of a multivitamin. I talk about this literally all the time because it's so important and it's going to make a huge difference. If you're someone who's in the trying to conceive camp and you're trying to conceive either right now or in 6 months or less, then that's where the prenatal comes in from Needed. You know, I'm obsessed with Needed. I can't, like, I'm literally just, that company is so freaking incredible. I'm obsessed with their prenatal. I'm obsessed with their omega, their choline, their iron, all of it. So if you're in the trying to conceive camp, highly recommend getting their prenatal. They have capsules. They also have a powdered form. I personally like the capsule form because I don't always do a smoothie to have the powdered form. But anyway, I'll put all the information in the show notes. You get a discount using my code Corinne if you want to try Needed out. And then if you are not in the stage of trying to conceive in 6 months or less, then you do a high quality multivitamin. I always recommend One Multi by Pure Encapsulations. I'll put the link below for that as well. And if you want my full supplement protocol, you know, I talk about this all the time. I have a full supplement training you could always check out. It goes into various different protocols of just overall cyclical health and wellness, that if you have a male partner, he could follow that as well, because you are trying to conceive. It takes two to tango. So we got to make sure his shit is on point as well if you do have a male partner. So that's one of the protocols. I also have a protocol for PCOS, for painful periods and endometriosis, for fertility and pregnancy, and for safely stopping hormonal birth control. So you could check that out in that training, but at least make sure that you are on a high quality multi, the Pure Encapsulations One Multi, or if you're trying to conceive, the Needed prenatal is the one that I recommend. So that's number one for supporting your mitochondria. Number two is reducing inflammation. Because if your body is inflamed, your body needs the space to breathe and to be able to heal again. And if it's bogged down with inflammation, it slows everything down. So we have to really work on our inflammation levels. This is another reason why it's one of the modules in the Mind Your Hormones method, because especially with hormone imbalances, inflammation is one of the major root causes for PCOS, for endometriosis, for autoimmune disease, for all of that. Inflammation is a huge root cause. So looking at things that cause inflammation in your life, obviously if you're looking from a food perspective, are you having a lot of processed foods? Are you having a lot of sugar? Are you having a lot of dairy and gluten? These things all cause inflammation in our body, as does emotional stress. So really working on reducing inflammation. I have other podcast episodes on this too. So I'm not going to go down like a whole rabbit hole of inflammation. I just want you to start recognizing like, okay, how can I start supporting my mitochondria? How can I start getting more energy in my day so that my body can be in a place to start healing? And again, it's these small, tiny changes that are actually going to create the space in your body to have more energy to heal. So the nutrients, starting to reduce inflammation by shifting some of the things that you're eating. Enhancing your digestion goes hand in hand with that, because digestion is a very energy intensive process. So if you're someone who's eating like every 2 hours, if you are someone who's having a lot of, again, inflammatory foods with your meals, like whether that's processed foods, whether that's, and obviously some processed foods is fine, but you know what I'm saying? If it's like the majority of it, if it's a lot of dairy, if it's a lot of gluten, if it's a lot of animal products without any fiber, this is going to really slow down your digestion. And when your body has a harder time digesting things, if it's either digesting all day because you're eating like every 2 hours, or if it's digesting mostly animal products and not a lot of plant foods and fiber to help break that down, it takes a lot of your energy away. So your energy is going to be focused there and not on healing. So that's something else you can look at. And then of course, balancing your blood sugar, which is another reason why I'm so excited to give you this free training, because when your blood sugar is off, not only does it affect your moods, your energy that we're talking about, your cycle, your fertility, all of it, it drains you of energy. This is why my client that we were talking about in the beginning, she noticed so far, she's like, I don't have 3 p.m. slump anymore. I'm like, okay, you're moving in the right direction, because number one, you have more energy, which means that your blood sugar is starting to balance out, because she's only halfway through the first module, which is all on blood sugar balance. So I know that she's moving in the right direction for that. So when your blood sugar is off, it's going to affect your energy levels. It's going to cause a domino effect of all your hormones getting out of whack, your reproductive hormones, all the hormones in your body, because insulin is a top tier hormone. And I teach you all about this in the training too. I don't just tell you like how to build a hormone healthy meal. I tell you how your blood sugar actually affects your cycle and your fertility, what the role of insulin is in your body. So like definitely download this training. Like I said, it's completely free and it's straight from my course. So you know it's freaking jam-packed with information, okay? And you're going to really get a lot of value out of it. But these are some things that are going to affect your mitochondria in a positive way that's going to help your body begin healing, and that's going to give your body the space to balance out these hormones, okay? So the one thing that I want you to take away from today's episode is that you know that you're moving in the right direction if you start seeing and feeling more energy throughout your day. Your body needs energy to heal. If you are not experiencing that, if you are extremely fatigued, there are things that you're missing that are not quite putting you in the place that you need to actually heal. Okay. So your action steps right now are to go download that free training, because it's going to be a game changer for you. And to just start noticing how your energy levels are. And if you feel like you are moving in the right direction, and then thinking about the stuff that we're talking about, from the nutrients, inflammation, the digestion, blood sugar, like where can you start? Obviously start with the free training. Do you want to get a prenatal? Do you want to get the multivitamin? Like how can you start making sure that you're putting your body in a place and that it has space to actually heal? So I hope this was helpful for you. I want to make sure that I'm always supporting you and knowing that like I'm here with you, obviously, but also that if you are making changes, I don't want you to just make changes that you're like hearing on maybe even this podcast or wherever, but you're maybe doing it in a way that's not actually supporting you. And you're like, is this actually working? I want you to know that increased energy is how you're going to know that it's actually working. Okay. And I said it 10 times because it's so important. Okay. I love you so much. Free training will be in the link below. The multivitamin and the prenatal will be in the link below. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. I love hearing from you. I love knowing what's going on in your world. Thank you for those of you who message me and you're like, oh my God, I found your podcast. I'm trying to conceive, or I'm working on regulating my period, or coming off of birth control. Like I love hearing all the things. So I appreciate you so, so much. I'm so grateful to have you on this journey with me, and I will talk to you soon.